All right, family. Black power, black power. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the coldest, mind-blowing occult breakdown of the Bible ever. That's right. Oh, yeah. And so right now we got a few peoples in here. We're gonna give them a few more minutes to get on in because I didn't went live, and so they should see I didn't went live. You feel me? So we're gonna give them a few minutes to get in here. In the meantime, y'all just buckle in and know that we about to get started in just a few minutes. In just a few minutes. All right, family. Let me see something. I always wanted to try something on here. I don't know where the music. Let me see if I can. Okay. But they might get to tripping on here if I get to playing music. I'll just wait it. And I'll do a rundown before that. All right, family, just give me about 5 minutes. Y'all stay in tune. All right. You're starting. It's time to start getting in here now. Whoever else, they're gonna have to catch up. You see? Let me see. Okay. Let me see how I'm looking on. Hold on. All right, family, let's go. Let's go. Let's bring it on up and get busy. Let's bring it up and get busy. All right, we in the house. Okay. Okay. Let me see. How we looking? All right. That's all right. That's good. Let me see. Bingo. No, we take that. All right. Close my door. Hold on. All right. Now let's get started. Today we're talking about the coldest breakdown, and it is. It is. Let me see what time. Okay, we on. So we getting started around 7. Okay, 17 minutes. All right, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. All right, let's get busy. Now, one of the things we got to understand that, prerequisites. The prerequisites of this, understanding certain terminologies so you can get a clear understanding of what you read. If you don't have that, then you're not really reading the book at all. You're not reading it at all. You see, because you don't have the proper when you go to play a game or anything. You see, you have to know the rules of the game in order to properly play it. You see, when you go to play chess, you can't play chess like you play checkers. You see what I'm saying? You can't just, jump. It's a proper way in which you move the pieces. You see? And so that's and this is the same way in understanding how the pieces move, understanding, what the pieces are. Okay? And so we're gonna deal with the most important, because it's a lot of parables in the book. It's a lot of mysteries in the book. Okay? There's a lot of occult information in the book. We cannot do it all, but what we will do is focus on the major pieces. Okay? And so when we start talking about, Adam, see, let's start with Adam. And so a lot of people, let's get this up here, because it's very significant that we do. Now that took it all the way. Let me, matter of fact, let me go to the banner. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll just do this. I'll do this. Okay. So what people don't know is that when we dealing with Ham, and Ham is a very significant person in the book, because Ham is supposedly the patriarch of the African tribes in the Bible. Okay. Now we understand, and so the prerequisite of understanding, we know that Ham is not the true father of the African nations as we know it through historical documentation. So don't try to bring the rules outside the Bible to apply to another situation. You got to know the rules of history. You understand? As our ancestors and as our teachers know it. And even then, you have to sometimes know the rules of particular teachers because they don't all teach the same. So you don't try to cut and paste the rules of one particular understanding or realm of knowledge and realm of understanding and then try to apply it to another. So though we understand, that Ham is not truly in the Bible, he is. Okay, in the Bible, he is. And so, in order to weave through this and understand what the parables and what the chambers is trying to reveal, you have to apply these rules or just leave it alone because you ain't gonna have no clear understanding at all. You see, or what it means. Okay, and so Adam, see, and a lot of people, what people don't know, Ham being black. Matter of fact, let me go in here and hopefully let me get to some definitions. I know I should have it. Yeah, we get it's here. Good. Okay, so we talking about harm. You see, or charm. That's significant. Champa. You see, which was one of the civilizations over in East Asia, right next to the Mon Khmers, where you get Angkor Wat. You see, Angkor Wat. Matter of fact, let me throw that in there because a lot of you may not know Angkor Wat. And so what we had to do is we had to show y'all, exactly what that is. And so we have proper understanding. You see, Angkor. Okay, here we go. And see that these temples all over the planet are ascribed to these Kushites. You see that now this is one of the Angkor Tom, I believe it is. Okay. Hopefully it jump right on in there. It do. Okay. And so that's Mon Khmer. Matter of fact, let me get a map. Let me get a map. Matter of fact, that's just one of where they got these, the faces carved in the mountains. You see, very similar to the temple, Abu's symbol in Egypt. Yes, indeed. Let me throw Angkor Wat in there. This might be a good one. Yep, there we go. Now this is under the Mon Khmer. And you see, even in that, I'm gonna deal with that. Matter of fact, let me see when you talk about charm, and so matter of fact. I believe it. Let me see how they. I know it's Chim. Kim, which is Cam. Okay. In the Mon, when we dealing with this term Mon Khmer, you see, you dealing with the monsoons. You see that they were brought over into the area which I'm gonna give you the map. And so you see even there, Kim, you see Kam, the vowel is not there. You see, the vowel is not there. But you can add it. You see, because really a lot of them didn't. So if you put the cam in there, you see the cam. You see, which is another form of charm. You see a calm, and it means black. Okay, it means black. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back together and I'm gonna prove it. I ain't gonna take you out there without a life preserver. You see, I'm gonna get you the life preserver that you need. You see, and so we dealing with the mind Camirs. Okay, Camirs now Champa, Naga Champa. You see, Nag, Champa. Okay, this is a good one right here. Mm-hmm. And so we get started. We got, I'm gonna drop because I don't have, but we'll be working. You see, so you see the Khmer or Khmer, you see, and you see Champa over here. Now let me blow the Champa today would be Southern Vietnam. You see, be Southern Vietnam. Matter of fact, let me that's a nice one. Okay, this is one too. I already had it, but I'm gonna drop it in here anyway. And what I'll do is I'll just take it and so they side by side so we have a proper understanding. You see? And I'm gonna take you into the biblical dictionary where they're gonna back up that this is exactly what it is. You see, I'm gonna go in there and prove it to you. So you got Adham, and I'm gonna bring you into that because it's not spelled Adam, A-D. It was originally Adham. You see, Adham. Okay, and that include where God is referred to as what? I am. You see, I am that I am. You see, and that's another form of Ham, meaning black. And I can back it up based on, because the I became the H. You see, the I became the H. Okay, I am. Okay. And so when you add that, when we just dealt with the fact that what it say, Ham or Cham, you see, or Cham, which as in what Champa, you see, and you'll see that Kush is over there too. You see, matter of fact, let me get it in there for you. So when we get to rolling, everything is where we needed to be. With everything Kush Mountains. Let me see here. Is this a good one? Yeah, this is a good one. Let me see. I'm gonna just have to blow it up. I'm gonna just have to blow it up. You'll see it up there by Afghanistan, and I'm gonna blow it up. Matter of fact, let me just take this one, but I'm gonna duplicate it because we're gonna come back. We're gonna line this up. You see, we're gonna line this up. So when we come out of harm, we're gonna already understand the harm because that's very significant. You see, that's very significant. So you also got the Hindu Kush over there too. So I don't want you to think, they got more than one word. And the Naga. And the Naga. And we'll bring that up too. You see, so when you talk about Adham, mean in Arabic, that's what it means. That's exactly what it means. Adham, you look it up in Arabic means black. You see what I'm saying? And so even the word Elohim is actually Eloham. You see, what we have to understand, it wasn't no vowels. And so what they do is they play with you. You see what I'm saying? By adding the one that's not going to bring the most controversy. Because once you understand the Ham and you understand that it's black, we understand that it means the black Lord. That's what it means, the black Lord. And so let's put that in there. The black Lord. Because Elohim is supposedly Lord. So wherever you see in the Bible and it says Lord, when you go to the original text, you find Elohim. You don't find Lord, you find Elohim. But then you understand that they place the I in there, so you would be less, you understanding of the true origin. So Elohim is Elohim. You see, the black Lord. Okay, and we even get to, we lining this up. Abraham. Let me put it in there. So let me get it on in there. I'm gonna put these in here so you have proper understanding. Okay. Okay. Abraham. So you understand these things. So this is very significant. This is very significant. Abraham. Okay, let me check. Mohammed. You see? Mohammed. See? Mohammed. Okay, one of the early Hammurabi. Let me bring that down. Hammurabi. Might be two M's. And we'll continue so we don't get away from this. You see the Ham, and then we gonna understand that not only does it mean black, it was a term that was used for Egypt. It was Ham was synonymous with Egypt. And we're gonna black that up too. And he was and the crazy thing about Hammurabi was the law. He was referred to as the lawgiver. You see, and we'll drop in, and we'll deal Beth Lee Ham. Okay, not Bethlehem, Bethlehem. See, because you can spell you spell Kim or Kemet, you can spell it Comet. You see, you can spell it Comet too. Some people spell Kemet with an I. Yeah, some people spell it with an I. Bethlehem, the house of the divine blacks. You see, Beth, house, Beth house, Lee of Ham, house of Ham, house of the divine blacks. You see, and so we lining it up. We got Mon Kamir, we got Champa. You see, and it's others that we can deal with, but for right now, we're gonna ride it out. So we can get to this because this one right here just lead into however many myths, because we could crack all of them open individually. So when we start talking about mysteries, Abraham is one. That's a chain, but Mohammed is a chain. But each one of them, this is an overall view, but we could crack each one of them open and go into that portal, and it'll open up into hundreds of more portals. You see, just that alone. Once you understand that, okay. And so we want to be clear that that's what it means. And so we'll go back down here and dealing with And I should have, let me see. We got them in here. If not, we'll get them in here, as we move. Because we teach on the spot. If it ain't there, we know exactly where to go get it. You see, yes, there it is. There it is. Good. It's right there. So we understand, number one, based on the dictionary, the biblical dictionary, ham or cham, burnt, swarthy, black. See? So when you say naga, which is also in Africa, we can black that up. Ham, cham, burnt, swarthy, black. Okay? The youngest son of Noah. Okay, we understand that. You see, Ham was the father of Cush, Mizraim, which is Egypt, Punt, and Canaan. So you talking about the original inhabitants of what they call Israel. You see, black. You see, Cush, Ethiopia, Mizraim, Egypt, and which is an acknowledgement that the writers of the Bible put the modern European in a hell of a bind because they want to teach that the the Egyptians is white. They want to teach that. You see, you got the Arab today who sit there and want to claim. You see what I'm saying? That Egypt is his. You see, and he has a problem with it. And then you see why. You see, when the Quran says when you are not sure about something in the Quran, then you look into the Torah or the gospel for clarity, because Allah also wrote and was a part of bringing forth the gospel and the Torah, the gospel of Jesus and the Torah of Moses. So if you find yourself dumbfounded about what you read in the Quran, then you go into the Bible and you go into the Torah. And when you go into the Bible, you go into the Torah, it clearly speaks that Egypt was a black land, period. And Zahid Hawass is not black. He's an Arab. You understand what I'm saying? And and you got some Africans that claim to be pale, be Arabs, but he's a pale Arab. And no Arab, because if you say that you're Arab, then that means you originated in Arabia. And so you don't have no claim at all to anything in Africa. So let's be done with that. Okay, so it says here, let me make sure everything is good. Make sure everything is good. Matter of fact, let me bring it all the way up. Let me bring it all the way up. Let me get it up there. Okay. Yeah, that's how we want it. Yeah, that's how we want it. Okay. Okay, and so when you come down here, it says it is believed, we talking about Ham. It is believed that he had Africa for his inheritance, and that he peopled it, but he dwelt in Egypt. You see, that's very significant because we understand Ham, burnt, swarthy, black. And Africa is called the land of Ham in several places of the Psalms. You see? And so, and so Africa, and so Egypt is referred, and that's why when you get Ham, you get Kim. Ham and Kim is the same thing. You see, because understandably, there are no vowels in Hebrew. You see, so you can spell it Kim. And matter of fact, there's no vowels in what they call the Medunetta. There is no vowels. People add vowels so that they could speak it, which it should not, and that's against, if you look the Medunetta up on a collegiate level and you go to college to learn it, they'll tell you that it's a transliteration. And what does that mean? That is to be written. So when you see Kemet, you will see what? KMT. That's all you see. KMT. You see, KMT. So you add the vowels at your discretion, even though they tell you don't do it. Because if you add vowels, people gonna add them however they want to add them. You see, everybody, and when you understand, each language has its own vowels. You see what I'm saying? So you see, if you the spelling of KMT, if every people on the planet added their own vowels to KMT, you would probably have hundreds and hundreds of different vernaculars. You see what I'm saying? It will be pronounced over hundreds and hundreds of different ways because people got their own vowels and their own vowel sounds. You see what I'm saying? So if you let a German add their vowels, and the Germans is one of them European people that got a harsh ass language. Even amongst other European people, they got one of them grunting in harsh, you know what I'm saying, languages when you hear them Germans speak. So if a German adds some vowels to KMT, ain't no telling what it would sound like. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no damn telling what it would sound like. And like I said, because all people had their own vowels, if everybody added, you would have hundreds of expressions for one word. You see? And so that's the reason why they say you don't add vowels. You don't add vowels at all. You just spell it out. Okay? But understandably, people nobody follows the rules, even the European. That's why you get the term Kemet, because somebody had to add some vowels, and that's okay. We're going to explain it anyway. So when you add the vowel, it does not change the continents. I mean, what I'm talking about, the consonants. I'm saying continents. The consonants. You see, so if you spell it KMET, if you spell it, if you spell it KAMAT, it's still the same word. It's still the same word, because really only thing that really counts is the consonants. That's the only thing that counts. So it could be KMET, it could be KAMAT. You see, it could be KAMET. You see, it could be KAMET. Some people, like I say, spell it with eyes. You see, but nevertheless, and that's the reason why. If you could have, man, you could have thousands of damn words for one damn word. You see, but what I'm trying to say, some people add different to fool you of what it really is. Once you understand that, you understand it's still the same word, no matter what they say. And so why did I do that? Because when you say Bethlehem, you see, Bethlehem, that's how they spell it, Bethlehem. Let me get it in there. Which is actually and still Bethlehem. You see, that's why I had to break that so that you can understand what the him and the ham mean, because it's really the HM. You see, it's really the HM, and probably if it was spelled out, if you take is BTHL. You see what I'm saying? And if you take all the vowels out and just leave the constant, and it was transliterated, that's what it would be. BTHLHM. You see what I'm saying? BTHLHM. And so they added vowels. They used the E across the board. That's what they used, the E across the board. and added the EM, but the E could be Ham. You see, and that's what it is. It's Bethlehem, house of the divine blacks. Okay. And so understandably that let me make sure that let me get that back over there. You see, and so he dwelt, and so Egypt is the land of the blacks. That's exactly what it means. You see, and so let's bring some more clarity to that. You see, let's go to this next right here. But let me deal with it right here. And so it says here, this is another biblical dictionary where see how they spell it. See charm, they spell it with a K. Kham. And so what do we just use that for? We just use that for what? We just use that for the Khmer. Mon Khmer. Where is that at? Right there. See? But they didn't have the A in there. You see, they had it like that, but I put it in there. And when you see, and you come down here to the biblical dictionary, you see there's in all actuality, that is exactly correct. Kham, Kham. They didn't have the A in there. Even the term Amu. You see what I'm saying? The You see I am. Amu. You see that AM is significant. You see that's significant. And many times, the Anu sometime or Amu. You see, and we understand when you deal, and that's another breakdown. Because when mu is also synonymous with water. You see, almost is synonymous with water. And so the earliest peoples that came into Egypt, some people say Anu, some people say Amu. You see what I'm saying? Which worshipers of You see, worshipers of You see, I am or Ham, black. The name of Ham alone is known to have been given to a country. And so when you dealing with all the three sons of Noah, only Ham was known to have been his name given to a country. So it was very significant because you had Ham, you had Shem, and you had Japheth. But there's no country of Shem, there's no country of Japheth. But there is a country of Ham. And so it's very significant that the Africans were the first in the book to be recognized as those who established nations. And all of the children of Ham were also nations. And we understand that those that they call Shemites didn't get a nation until Israel. They were tribesmen and they were goat herders until they conquered Canaan, and they never established a nation of their own. They always were conquerors of those who had established nations. That's very significant. So we understand when we leave here that Ham, and you see the variations is what's key. If you don't understand that all of these is variations of that, and you have to train yourself over a course of time to be able to identify. You see, you have to be able to identify this term because it can be woven in many of the variations of the word, could be woven into words. And so a lot of what you're reading is etymology. And once you understand these etymologies, then the book gonna open up. And so you really have to go in there and break it down from an etymological understanding first to really read it. Once you done broke it down from an etymological standpoint, then it's ready to read. And until you do that, then you wasting your time. You see? And so we understand that Ham was the father of Cush, Ethiopia, significant. And since his name means black, you see what I'm saying? And it's not a surprise that his children would also be called black. You see, Ethiopia, Cush, burnt face. Now, the Ethiopia of the Bible is Sudan, not the Ethiopia that you see on the map today. The ancient Ethiopia is Sudan. Okay, so we must be clear, and which also means black. You see, when you talk about Sud, you see what I'm saying? It means black also. You see, and so and we can black that up. We can black that up. Let's not run from that. Let's not run from that. If we say something, we don't want people to just take our word for it. No, we don't. We don't want people just take our word for it. That wouldn't be right. Okay, let's go on and put it in here. Let's go and put it in here because we got it right here. We can black it up. We can black it up. We can black it up. It's not a problem. Okay. Let me go on and drop it in there for you. Let me drop it on in there for you so we can get an understanding. Sudan derives, let me get it in there. Let me get it in there. Okay, there it is. Sudan derives from the Arabic expression Bilad al-Sudan, land of the blacks. You see, so we black that up. We back that up with truth and understanding, so we can put that in there. And this is another a form of black. So they have more than one term, but you can see that it's kind of across the board that these lands, you see, were identified as being people by those of black people. Okay, now when we understand, we understanding something now. You see, we even understand Elohim. You see, Elohim, the Black Lord. You see, the Black Lord. And so when you go in there and you see, again, when you go in the Bible and everywhere you see Lord, see, the original word that's in the scripture is Elohim, which is also Elohim. You see, in which I've got the research to black that up, that they know that that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? And some people say that and I can back that up too, that Noah, one of his names was Neham. When you go into some of them Judaic scriptures, they refer to Noah as Neham. You see, and and that's going deeper. See, that's going deeper. But I wouldn't bring it up unless I saw it in some references, and I just don't have the time to do that particular chamber today. But you can look it up if you get a chance. Neham. You see, Neham, Noah. So all of these, got the abbreviation of Ham in there. You understand? Now let's go here. Psalms 78:51, and what it says he struck down every firstborn in Egypt, the first fruits of their strength in the tents of Ham. Black. You see, so in the Bible, see, that's very clear that Egypt is black in the Bible. I want to make that very clear. that Ethiopia is the brother of Egypt, and both are referred to as black, not not dark, not black. That's the term that is used. Psalms 106:22, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and awesome deeds by the Red Sea. Genesis 10:6, what does it say? The sons of Ham, black, Cush, Ethiopia, Sudan. So I want you to understand, Ethiopia in the Bible is Sudan, not the Ethiopia of today. And I got to keep telling you that. Sudan, Cush, Egypt, and which they call Nubia. Okay, so they saying Nubia and Egypt were brothers. That's very significant. You see, Cush, Ethiopia, Punt, and Canaan. Canaan is today what is called Israel. So it's very significant that the earliest populations in that area were brothers to Egypt, to the Nubians. They were brothers. You see, and there's no difference in appearance amongst them. They all appear to be uniform in their blackness. You see, in their black. And so we understand Ham is black. So Genesis 9:18, and it says the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, Japheth. Ham, black, was the father of Canaan. You see? And I went over this one, the difference. You got Mohammed. And see what the thing is, that don't not just that they black. Also understanding that Egypt, see, Ham is also synonymous with Egypt. You see, and so it's more than one portal there. See, it's more than one portal, because now you know what they're saying is that these religions that you call Islam and that you call Judaism with Abraham and so on and so forth, that the mysteries, the teaching, the sacred science of those religions come out of Egypt. See, so when you say Ham, it is also synonymous with Egypt. You see? And so that's going to open up, and that's a portal that those who take the Bible to be their holy book and so on and so forth, and they might be, they feel that it's something else that's missing, and that once they get that type of information, you understand what I'm saying? That could be the bridge that carry them over, you understand, into the greater mystery. When you take them to Egypt, they got to come up out, but that's a chamber, that's a portal. So you see Abraham, you showing that beneath all of the parables and so on and so forth is a portal right there that'll take a wormhole that'll take you right to ancient Egypt. Muhammad the same, Hammurabi, those who stuck in the Anunnaki, not even there, Anunnaki. You see what I'm saying? All of that still goes back into Egypt. You see the Anu, that goes back to Egypt. A lot of people don't want to understand that. And we'll get on that. But Anu, Amu, you see, that's the same. Some people use the M, some people use the N. It's the same word. But in that, rooted in there, that which is a suffix of Ham. That's all that is. That's a suffix, Ham. You see what I'm saying? So Anu, Amu, all of that is the same. Taking it back to black. You understand? And then that's one portal. The other portal is that Ham is synonymous with Egypt. Because it says, yes, all the other nations were from the lineage of Ham in Africa and Canaan, but his domicile, Ham, was in Egypt. So Ham and Egypt is synonymous. They could mean the same. So you could use them and get the same message. You see, when you say Ham, the land of Ham, and even though it could mean any of the brothers, but being specific, the land of Ham is Egypt. Okay? Okay. Let me get black in here. And so you got Hammurabi, which we did Hamilcar. Hamilcar is the father of Hannibal. You see, then you got the Alhambra, which is the citadel that was built by the Moors in Granada. You see, Alhambra. You see what I'm saying? House of the Blacks. That's what it means, citadel of the Blacks. We went over that. Okay. And so we get back up here so we can black this up. When we talk about it, it says, and we did that one, showing that, and Psalms 105:27, they perform his signs among them and miracles in the land of Ham. So what are those miracles? The miracles is the 12 plagues that God supposedly, or Yahweh, and I don't want y'all to think that I'm just dealing with the book, is supposed to have performed in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Before the release of the Israelites from so-called bondage, which we know they were never in Egypt under no damn bondage. You see, they were never in Egypt under no bondage. But so Egypt is referred to the land of Ham. And so Genesis 10:20, these are the sons of Ham by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. Okay, and their nations. We'll deal with the last one because that one deal with Cush. You see? And so now another thing that we want to do is to show the other because there is an Egyptian Ethiopian federation of nations. You see, those that are linked by lineage to Egypt, to Ham, to Cush, to Canaan. Cush, which is Ethiopia, which is Nubia, and Egypt are the two big brothers. You see, they the two big brothers in the book. You see, and all the others, are the lesser nations, but they in league with Egypt and in Ethiopia. Isaiah 43:3 says, I am the Lord. See, I am. See, that's, I am that I am. See, that's another variation that they try to fool you. You see, for I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I gave you Egypt as your ransom, Cush, and Seba. Now we see Seba right there, which is also Saba. You see, and that's significant because what that does, that show you that what today is called Arabia, what they call Arabia is African. You see, it was originally African. So you see here, you see grandsons of Ethiopia, Sudan. See, you can put Sudan right on in there. You see Sheba. You see Sheba, and then you got Sheba, then you got Seba. And many people find, kind of find those interchangeable. You see, so you get what they call the Sabaeans. You see the Sabaeans, okay, which the Bible puts them in league, with the Ethiopians and the Egyptians. Okay, puts them in league with the Ethiopians and the Egyptians. Okay, and so it says, Jeremiah 13:23. So we understand this because this is the brother. So we just saw with Ham meaning black. That's exactly what it means. You see, and it says here, Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin? You see, can Ham change his skin? Can the Egyptian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? You see, then also you can do good who are accustomed to do evil. You see, so it shows you right there. Can the Ethiopian change? No, he can't change his skin. You see, nor the leopard his spots. Cannot do it. So that right there is significant, and that the Egyptian cannot change his skin, and that he's black just no less than the Ethiopian. You go down to Chronicles 1:9, now the sons of Cush, Ethiopia, Sudan, Nubia, Seba. See, that changes it once you understand, and that's another, we got to put that in there. So y'all clear, because that's a very serious chamber that changes the dynamics of the book. Okay, let me put that in there. Ethiopia in the Bible Nubia. You see, that's very significant. Because if people, when you hear it, and then when you take it in consideration, what it really means. You see, Ethiopia in the Bible is the Sudan, Nubia. So now when you read this, it means something totally different, because you could say the sons of Nubia. You ain't got to say Cush. You could just say Nubia, the sons of Nubia. Wherever you see Cush, you could just say Nubia. The sons of Nubia, Sheba, Havilah, Asapta, Rama, and Sabteka. You see, and the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. You see all of them. And so when you understand that, matter of fact, let me bring some of them maps right on up here so I can put them on in there. I'll leave some down here, and I'll just take some on up there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right here. Okay, where did I put it? Right there. Matter of fact, let me put it up under there. That way I'll be able to come to it. All right. You see, and so, you talk about, you see Sheba and Dedan and so on and so forth. And so you understand that all of that is an extension. What you call Arabia today is an extension of Nubia. You see, an extension of Nubia. And in actuality, I believe Ethiopia was the big brother. Ethiopia was the big brother. He was the bigger brother. The two between Egypt and Ethiopia. You see? And so, let me see. And we got Numbers 12:1, and Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Nubian woman whom he married, for he married a Nubian woman. You see? Very, very significant. You see? And they need niggas to keep talking about. Now, we understand, again, it's just a story, but nevertheless, they say that the Israelites are not African. How that gonna be? How that gonna be? And we show all up and down the book that that's exactly what they did. That majority of all of them, the firstborns of the people, or what they call the Israelite, was by Nubian or Egyptian or Hamitic women. That's very significant. You see? And so the sons of Ham, Nubia, Egypt, Punt, and Canaan. The sons of Nubia, Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, Sabteka. The sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. Nubia fathered Nimrod. See, Nubia, Sudan, fathered Nimrod. He was the first on earth to be a mighty man. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore, it is said, like Nimrod. Now, another thing, in the original text, it don't say mighty hunter. It say giant hunter before the Lord. So Nimrod was what they call a Nephilim. You see, and we'll show that all them, what they call the Nephilim, even the Philistine or the Philistim. You understand? Because Goliath was a Philistine, a Philistim. I am. And so a lot of them, the descendants of Egypt were all had the suffix "im," like Nephilim, and so anything that had that suffix, either it was a giant or an angel, because you had the seraphim. You see, you had the Nephilim, and we're gonna deal with that. You see, and so so Nimrod, which was a Nubian, was referred to as the giant hunter before the Lord. You see, the Ethiopian Nimrod, the son of Ethiopia, the son of Sudan, the son of Nubia. The beginning of his kingdom was Babylon, Erech, Akkad, Akkadia, Calne, in the land of Shinar. That's Mesopotamia. So it clearly shows you that Nubia was the father of Mesopotamia. Period. Period. With a T. You see? Period with a T. And we just dealt. Okay, we dealt with that. Okay. And so when we come down and we still with the Ham. We didn't open up the chamber of Ham, in which it have led us into other chambers. We see Abram. See, his name was Abram. It wasn't Abraham. You see, his name was Abram. But when God made a pact with him, let me make sure everybody is in the house. I haven't even went in. Let's make sure everybody is in the house. I don't want to be going too far. Okay, we cool. We cool. Okay. And so it says, neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. See? You see, and so there you, for a father of many nations. Let me see what else was under there. Well, I can't even, that's just a snapshot. Okay. And so you see here the descendants of original Ham, and they say, see, this is very significant. In these passages, Ham is used as another name for Egypt, as representing Ham's principal descendants. Principal descendants. You see, in these, so when you see them add Ham, you understand exactly what that means. That's a portal that opens up into the more greater sciences of ancient Egypt. You see, these are just portals that lead you back to the sacred sciences of Egypt. So the question is, if they was of the lineage of Shem, and many people say even there, you see, Shem is Sham. I didn't see that spelling. You see, Ham, Sham. I didn't see them spell it Sham. A lot of people not talking about that, and I'm gonna black it up. You see, I didn't look in where they referred to him as Sham. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't rewrote these books. They didn't rewrote these books. You see, Sham. You see, and that's truthful. Now let's so we understand that the father of who is also the fathers of all the Semitic tribes, through Shem, down through Ishmael, which is supposedly the father of the Arabs. So Ishmael is the son of Abraham. And we'll deal with Ishmael because he's also recognized as an Ethiopian, an Egyptian. and an Ethiopian. Both of them the same. They look exactly the same. You see, so Ishmael was also referred to as an Ethiopian, not no damn Arab. And I know a lot of Arabs that know it, and I can show you the video where they know that Ishmael is a Nubian. They know that. They know that. And so you see here Mizraim. You see, now his name is Em. You see, and so let me put these in here. So when you break this down, Mizraim, I believe that's the proper spelling. Yeah. Mm. Okay, let me okay, let me put that in there. So you see Nephilim. You see which are the giants. You see what they say that the angels procreated with the daughters of man. And so they talk about the Nephilim, okay, giants. See the I am the Em. So you see Mizraim, Egypt, Nephilim. Now some of the children of Egypt was the Philistines or the Philistim. Okay. Okay, let me put that in there. Because when you get the Philistim, you get what? Goliath, who was a giant. And so the Philistines in the genealogy, which I'll show you, come from Egypt. And then you got what you call the seraphim. And the seraphim was the highest ranking of the angels. And so when you see this Em, and then when we get to the lineage of Egypt, you will see all of his children also with the Em. You see? There it is. The highest ranking order of angels, the seraphim. Very significant because we about to go into this now. So anything with that Em, either they were giants or they were angels. You see, giants are angels. So now when we get here, he say Mizraim, which is Egypt, is the second son of Ham. See, he was. Cush, Ethiopia was the oldest. That's very significant. It's showing you that it's coming down the river. Ham is the old. Ethiopia is the oldest. Now, we talking about Egypt, Mizraim, and was the father of Ludim, Anamim, Lihabim, Naphatum, Pathrusim, Ka Sluhim, out of which came Philistine. You see, in Captorim. Okay, now that's very significant because the Philistine, right there, Philistine, is the giants that produce Goliath. Now it's another giant race in there too. And they all, it's another, and I won't look for him in there, but they go back to the Hamites too. So you see these giants like the Watusi and whatnot that's in Africa today. You see, so our people was producing giants, but but many times the giant is a metaphor with some of our family in Africa who was so amazingly intelligent and were producing. They were referred to as giants. You see what I'm saying? That's also an understanding. And then some of them just were so damn tall that that's exactly what they was. Okay, and so okay, and so we see, but elsewhere it is the standing name of Egypt, in which Mizraim is the standing name of Egypt, in which sense it occurs nearly 87 times. The only exception being, okay, blase, blah. All right. Now, when it talks about, let's get off into the definition. The names of Mizraim and the descendants of Mizraim. Listen to this. This is very significant. Appeared in talking about Genesis 10, 13, 14, 1 Chronicle 1, 11, 12, appear to be all names of nations rather than of individuals, and they include far more than Egypt. So that was very significant. And I'm gonna tell you, see, this is when the Bible, you get to cracking the Bible open. You see, you get to cracking the Bible open like an eggshell, because what's happening is you're seeing that the Cushites, the Egyptians, they're all nations at a time when the other brothers, now listen, they all supposedly got off the boat at the same time. They all supposedly got off the boat at the same time, but yet Egypt, the sons of Ham's they skyrocketed into nationhood, which you cannot do without hundreds and thousands of years of development. And so you just can't come off no damn boat after the world has been destroyed and start establishing megalithic structures, pyramids and temples and all this, that, and the third, and you only got a few people. You see what I'm saying? It would take you just thousands of years trying to repopulate, let alone, coming, establishing some great knowledge. And, when you got, it takes millions of great minds to develop that. And so what it shows is that they took African history that was already fully developed and they force-fitted it into the mythologies of the Bible. You see, and where the characters they made up, they was really looking for an origin for themselves. They didn't have no origin. And so when they created an origin, they force-fitted the African history, which was hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years older than the mythology they created. And so when you read it and you see that there's some hell of a discrepancies, because how is it that Ham catapults damn near warp speed ahead of the rest of the brothers into nationhood, where the Israelites don't get it? They didn't actually form a nation. They took a nation. They never formed one of their own. You see, that's very, we have to understand that. So in essence, you see that the African history was far older than anything in the Bible. You see, far older. That they were all, the Hametics were doing things in the Bible that no other brother or other nation in the book was doing from beginning to the end of the Bible. You see, they were already highly advanced and far greater than any of the other brothers. You see? And so this is one thing that even this biblical dictionary took into account. Said they was nations rather than individuals. It says Mizraim, therefore, like Cush, Sudan, Ethiopia, and perhaps Ham, geographically represent a center whence colonies went forth in the remotest period of post-Diluvian history. Now you got to understand when they talking about post-Diluvian, they talking about after the flood of Noah. We know that's a lie. See, that's what they pushing the lie. You see, Egypt and Ethiopia was before the flood. And see, according to the Bible, that's another thing which we got to bust that shit up. Is that what they saying? Because Ham is the son of Noah. Ethiopia and Egypt is the sons of Ham. You see, and so it was only 8 people that survived the flood: Noah, his wife; Ham, his wife; Shem, his wife; Japheth, and his wife. Only 8 people survived the flood. And so Egypt and Ethiopia being sons of Ham means that they were born after the flood of Noah. But that's just not true. You see what I'm saying? That's just not true, because we can go in, and if we go to the date in which they supposedly give for the flood at 2344 BC. How do we know that? Because we're using the dates of the Bible. They say that the Bible says that the earth is only 6,000 years old. That's what they say. They used to put the date, matter of fact, they used to put the damn date in the Bible. I'm going to show you. Because I used to see it. I used to open it up and let me see if I can get it. Probably so goddamn embarrassed. They probably don't want to. They don't want to put it in there no goddamn more. Let me see. To see, I'm gonna have to search for. Okay. Okay. Numerous efforts have been made to determine the biblical data, creating or yielding varying results. Besides differences in interpretation, the use of different versions of the Bible can also affect the result. 2 dominant dates for creation using such models existed, using such about 5500 BC and about 400 BC. So I see right here 4004 BC. Okay, Usher, yeah, deducted that the first day of creation, and that's what you will see in the Bible. Let me put that in there. You see, let me put that in there. And so that's how you get to 2,344. You understand? Because the Bible count down the years each one of the prophets lived. They'll say, oh, Adam lived 1,000 years, and so on. And so when you deduct from the 4,004 down to the flood, that's the date that you get. So I want you to understand where the date is coming from. I don't want you to think we making it up. This is the date that they putting in the Bible. Now, if you want you can get John G. Jackson book, Christianity Before Christ. If you get that book by John G. Jackson, The Christianity Before Christ, he talks about that. Matter of fact, let me see if I can let me put this down here. But like I say, they used to have the Bibles with the date in it. Let me see if I can find one so you can see. If you've never seen it, because I don't want you to be, I don't want you to think I'm making it up. I want to, because I remember seeing that shit. It was one of them Bibles, one of my family members had died, and I know my grandmother had gotten a Bible, one of them old big Bibles, and it had the date right on in there. It had it in there. See, they trying. If I can't find it, that's okay. I most definitely will be on the hunt for it. There it is. There it is right there. There it is. There it is right there. I done found it. But I need a bigger picture than that. Here it is. Let me drop it in here. See that? See right there, 4004. It's right there. It could be a lot bigger. It could be a lot bigger, but you know they didn't. Let me see. But you see it right down there. You see 4,000. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get it because it's already pixelating because it's really not that big in megapixels. And the guy who put that date, he was out of the King James camp. So you see it right there, Genesis, and you see before Christ 4004. And so that's where you get all these dates and shit. That's technically, and it might be another camp, like they said, that got a 5,000, but 5,000 BC, and they probably trying to switch it up now because so much more ancient stuff is coming out, and even then, I mean, 5,000 BC still ain't shit. You see, it ain't gonna clean up all these. So we go, and so when we go back here, we see Mizraim, okay, post-diluvial history. With regard the distribution of the Mizrahites, that's Egyptians, as showing that their colonies were but a great part of the great migration that gave the Cushites. See, the Mizrahites and Cushites, they use them interchangeably. You see, they use them interchangeably. You see, I'm gonna read it again. So I want you to understand what they're saying and watch how they worded it. We regard the distribution of the Mizrahites as showing that their colonies were but a great part of the great migration that gave the Cushites the command of the Indian Ocean. And I put that up there so you could see, the Indian. Matter of fact, I got a bigger map of it. I got a bigger map. I put it in there. Hopefully it's still in there. Okay. Hmm. Okay. It somehow I got up out of there. Somehow I got up. But what I could do is I can copy that. I can copy that and just throw it in there. You see? And so it say gave command over the whole Indian Ocean. Now listen to what it said. Cush that gave the Cushites, the Mizrahites, the Egyptians, and the Ethiopians the command of the Indian Ocean, which explains the affinity the Egyptian monuments show us between the pre-Hellenistic Cretans, talking about Crete, you see, and the Carians, you see, the latter, no doubt, the Seleges of the Greek writers. You see what I'm saying? So even Crete and all of that we see was under the command of Ethiopia. Where's Crete? Let me show y'all Crete. Can't let you get away. Let you get away without you understanding this. Crete. Okay, this is a nice one too. They probably ain't gonna. The last time I tried to get it, they didn't want me to get it. You know, sometimes they be trying to block these damn pictures, which I always get it. You see, you ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna get it. Okay, let me get a picture of that. Okay, so you can see this. All right. See, when you go off into them earlier biblical dictionaries and shit, you got to get you something in the early 1900s. That's what you got to. You got to get you something in the early 1900s or late 1800s. Okay, let me drop it in so we can black it up. You see, so you talking about Crete, the Cretans. You see, now when you talk about some of them children of Egypt too, you see, you talking about they say Captor, Captorim, which I believe is the island of Crete. You got to know that. So they letting you know what they thought of long before these goddamn academians trying to change it up now. Captor. Yep, let me see. Captor Crete. Let me see. That's what they saying. See? Because that's what they saying. They saying it's Captor is Crete. See? So is that showing and what does it say when you look up and you see we talking we going somewhere now. See, we going somewhere. Let me put this and let me see if I can get this one too. So you understand. Mm-hmm. Captor's Creek. Now let's look up. Let's look up and see what is the oldest European civilization. Let's see what it say. We going wait a minute. I want to put some maps in there so when the next time we come across this, we already got things in place. You see, we already got things in place. Now let's see what the oldest civilization of Europe. See what they say. The Minoans. Crete. Okay, let me put that in there. So you understand what we doing here now. We doing some great things. We opening up, some clarity about what's going on. So it shows you again that the civilization is coming from the south going north. Is coming from the south going north because ain't no goddamn people originated on no goddamn island. You understand what if it was coming from the north, then you would expect the mainland Greece, Mycenae would have had to been civilized first. How you gonna go to an island? You gonna come north and come all the way Crete to start your civilization? Don't make no sense. So when you follow the flow of the Nile and you see Ethiopia, Egypt, Canaan, which is over here, Sidon, Tyre, you see, and so as it come down, and then it goes into the islands first. You see, it goes into the island first, and then it moves to the mainland. That's how that explains that. You see, the civilization is going with the flow of the river. When you get to the bottom of the Nile, you have no other choice but go into the islands and go out into the peripheral of Northeast Africa, which is Canaan, Arabia, Turkey. You see what I'm saying? And that's how that civilization began. You see, and so let's put it in here. Let's put it in here so we have clarity on what we just said. We asked, what is the oldest civilization of Europe? And we got to black it up. I don't want you to take my word for it. We're gonna black it up. Okay, over. I put that in there. The Minoans, over a vibrant, prosperous civilization flourished in Crete in the 3rd and 2nd millennium BC. They are considered by many as the first European civilization, being a substantial artistic, trading, and religious force in the prehistoric Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean. Okay, so that right there blacks it up. And so when you go into the Bible and you look at what they call Caftor, which is looked at as Crete, it shows and proves that the early, what you want to call, it's not even Greek, it's African. Because what happens is, because they then conquered the land, and you only know of the nation once they conquer it. You don't know of it before they conquer it. You see what I'm saying? And so you don't know that the Africans had already been on the island before the Greeks even came into being. You see, they was on the mainland, or what they call, because again, that, you know, there wasn't no Greeks in that land when the African was there. Wasn't no Greeks on that island when the African was there. And so when they went into Crete, then they went over to the mainland and they established what today is known as Greece. But see, the European, when they show up, it's over with. That's why when you talk about Homer, let me look at it and get directly, you know, in your face so you hear what I'm saying. See, this is when you get to talking about Homer and shit, and they get to talking about earlier, you know, fables, and you know, when you start talking about the great heroes of Hercules and Odysseus, and you talking about the Troy, that's earlier than the Greek civilization. They know that. You see what I'm saying? So those were those who were there before they got there. You see what I'm saying? All the Trojan War and all that was before. You know what I'm saying? This was, you know, at a more ancient time. You see, and so these were the Ethiopians. That's why you got Memnon, the Ethiopian that was the great, you know, warrior that fought Achilles. People don't want to talk about that book of Homer that they call the Ethiopiacus. You see, the Ethiopiacus, in which they'll talk about the Iliad and the Odyssey, but they won't talk about the Ethiopiacus, because that was showing that Ethiopians had dominated that whole Mediterranean long before it was a European presence even there. That was an extension of the greater African empire. You see what I'm saying? And they was in there before even the Egyptians got there, because you got what they call the Grimaldi's. You see what I'm saying? The little Twa that were in there even before the Egyptians got there. There was successive migrations over thousands and thousands of years. Successive migrations over thousands and thousands of years. You got to understand that. You got to understand that. So we didn't back that up. We didn't black that up. That the Africans ran the whole of the Indian Ocean. So I want to show you, because I don't want to get away from here without, you know, letting you see nations. It says command of the whole Indian Ocean. Yeah, this is the one I like right here. So you can see today what nations that the Africans would have influenced before the peoples you see there today. So you see right there from, you know, you see South Africa, Mozambique, Kenya, Somalia, Tanzania, Tanzania, I mean, Eritrea, Djibouti, Sudan, Egypt, Yemen, Oman, even Saudi Arabia, Iran, Bahrain, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, Qatar, the Arab Republic. And so these are just, but we just showing you that these people didn't even exist. But see, this is showing you all of the nations off the Indian Ocean that economically interchange with one another. This is the Indian Ocean Federation of Nations. You see, so this is a whole different realm over here. In actuality, this was the first realm or the second world. Africa was the first world, and then this federation of nations became the second world. There was no Europe. There was no Americas. There was none of that. That would come far later. You see, that would come far later. So you see India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand. You see Indonesia. You got a whole in Australia. In Australia, let me enhance that. Yeah, that brought it up tremendously. Damn. Brought it to life. Okay, let me put that in there. So Federation of Nations. And it's what did it say? It said the Ethiopian Egyptians and the Egyptians had command over the whole Indian Ocean. We're going, and then we're gonna move forward through the monsoon. We regard the distribution of the Mizrahites, Egyptians, as showing that their colonies were but a part of the great migration that gave the Cushites the command of the Indian Ocean, and which explains the affinity the Egyptian monuments show us between the pre-Hellenistic Cretians. You see Cretans. And so again, when we go up here and talk about it, you see Caphtorim. Caphtorim is Crete. Philistum. You see the giants. You see, and we put that in there so you know exactly where that was. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice one. Let me see. Let me throw that one in there. Okay, let me throw that one in there. So you see it's coming out of Egypt, going into Judah. You see Judah right there, right on the doorstep of Egypt. Let's just deal with it. Right there on the, you see the brook of Egypt, right there on the doorstep of Egypt. That's what it is. You see? And so this is where you get Goliath, and you see what I'm saying? Let me put another one in there. So you got to have this understanding. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way you gonna go in there and read that shit and you ain't got this understanding. It don't even make no sense. So we understand we didn't show Philistine, and so we understand that the giants in there that they talk, the Nephilim, that's you. The Nephilim that they talk about, the angels of the Lord, procreated with the daughters of man. You see, and whatever philosophical shit that they come up to explain that. Now let's come on down. Ethiopia. Now we talking this talk now. We talking this talk. We coming on down. Ethiopia lying to the south of Egypt, corresponding to what is now the Sudan. Did you hear that? Okay, matter of fact, let me get these out of here so you can see exactly what books these is. I don't want you to, say, well, Sadie, where's the publishing? I'm gonna put it in there for you because you need to know this. I don't want you to. I want you to know exactly what the references that I got this from. Let me put it in there for you. Let me see if it's at the top here. You know what? I know which one it was. I know which one it was. Here it is right here. Right there. That's coming out of that translation right there. Matter of fact, and then let me go. This one right here. This is the Calmets. So this one come out the Calmets 1832. So that's a pretty old document. You know, let me put the you know what I'm saying? And of course we didn't use the Queen James, excuse me, the King James. You see, so that's where those references came from. You see, that's where those references came from. Okay, let's get back down here. Ethiopia, Kush. See what I'm saying? Ethiopia is Kush. So where you see Kush is Ethiopia, country of bird faces, lying to the south of Egypt, corresponding to what is now the Sudan, the country of the blacks. Coming right on up out of the 1924, the People's Bible Encyclopedia. That's where it's coming from. You see? That's where it's coming from. And so we understand that we understand that we understand that it is the Sudan, and we understand that the Sudan is the older brother of Egypt. Oh, you can't see the slide. How long was it where you couldn't see the slides? Okay, let me get it back up there. How far back did let me know how far back, how long was the slides not up there? Did y'all get a chance to see this one? Did y'all see this map right here? Y'all didn't. Okay. So y'all didn't even see the Philistine. Okay. Okay. All right. That's all right. My bad. I'll make sure I put my damn face back up on there. Okay, that's cool. All right, we're gonna run right through it. It's not a problem. We're gonna get right back to it. So we understand the Philistine. Now the Philistine is the Philistines. You see, and we showing you the map of where it was located. You see what I'm saying? Coming right into the doorway of Egypt. Let me get up here. So let me get out the way. You see, so that's the Philistine. You understand? And anything with the eam, you understand, signify either you are angel, you see, or in the seraphim or the a cherub, you know, the cherubim, which is another ranking of the angel. And then you got the Philistine. See, the Philistine, and then that shows you the Nephilim. The Philistine also was derivative of the Nephilim. You see what I'm saying? To show you that these giants was the Africans. You see, and no other people on the planet was spoken of. And even when you look like at Mizraim, no other, and so when you're dealing with the children of Egypt, which we went through and we showed that these were all the, those that had that suffix that, you understand, when you look at it, it is either a suffix that denotes a giant status or an angel status. You see what I'm saying? So the Philistine, if you rooted for David over Goliath, you did not understand. You see? Now we know they don't, but that's who it was. The Philistine was of the blacks, of the African, the Egyptians. You see? That's who they were. And so when you talk about Crete, if you did not see that, let me get back to you, because when you talk about Caphtorim, right there, Caphtorim, and I took you to, if you didn't see, I'm going to take you to the map where it show you Caphtor. It's Crete. Okay, which is Crete. And then we said we went over the Minoans. And so I put in there, what is the oldest civilization of Europe? It says the Minoans, a vibrant and prosperous civilization flourishing in the Crete. Flourished in Crete in the 3rd and 2nd millennium BC. They are considered by many as the first European civilization, being a substantial artistic, trading, and religious force in the prehistoric Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean. You see? So you see here Crete. Now again, matter of fact, where's my maps? Okay, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna show you why I use. Hold on. Because it'll show you, and then when you see this map, you will understand. Crete, military geography, right here. Let me bring that on. I'm gonna catch y'all up. Y'all ain't miss nothing. I can catch that up with no problem. Bring clear understanding. You see, I'm gonna catch you right black up. Come on, open up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Where that map at? Right here. Here we go. See, now this is why we teach from this map. I got one clearer than that. I got one clearer than that. Thought I got, even though I could still use it. I could still use it. This is why the map got to be top side up. You understand what I'm saying? It'll explain Crete. You understand, by going with the flow of the Nile River. And you see that the upper river, you understand, is the oldest aspect of the river. As a matter of fact, I ain't gonna wait. I thought I had a clearer one than that. I thought I had a clearer one, and I believe it's, I wonder if it's this one. I had a way clearer one than that. But if not, I'll just roll with it. I ain't gonna wait long. That's the one I had. And then I could use this one, but I don't like using this one because it show Africa too small, but it might be okay. It show Africa too small. I just use this one. Okay, I just use this one. So what you're seeing here, because why we have Africa top side up, because civilization is coming from the interior, the heart of Africa, down into Egypt. You see, coming down into Egypt. Okay, and so when you see as it come down and now into the Sudan is more ancient than Egypt by way of the sequence of civilization. And then it comes into Egypt. And then when it gets into Egypt, it begins to go into the exterior or Africa or Kush Minor, which is Arabia. Arabia is Kush Minor. You see what I'm saying? Just like they got Asia Minor. No, that's Kush Minor. You see what I'm saying? And then they begin to take to the Mediterranean. And so, going into the islands, they'll touch the islands first. You see, coming down into the Mediterranean, coming into Crete, coming into these islands, and you understand what I'm saying? And even when you read the Stolen Legacy, it'll talk about that. George M. James, he talks about that the island, the islanders had what they call, quote unquote, the mysteries before mainland Greece. That's where they got it from. You see what I'm saying? So this shows you that it's happening in sequence with the flow of the Nile. You see, it's happening in sequence with the flow of the Nile. We come back to Ethiopia once more. You see, and it says lying to the south of Egypt, corresponding to what is now Sudan, the country of the blacks. It was known to the Hebrews. You see the name Cush, authorized version, Ethiopia, same thing, is found in the Egyptian Kish, evidently applied to the same territory. Now listen, they see in one passage in the description of the Garden of Eden, see, an Asiatic Kush or Ethiopia must be intended. See, now, that hurt them. It hurt them. You see, where in the Bible, but the thing is, see, this is what's key. Once you know the book, no other place did it say that any of the other brothers had children called Cush. It was only one Ethiopia Cush in the Bible, and that was the one that was in Africa. So even if they is saying where they can't accept, they say, well, it must be an Asiatic Kush. You see, they can't accept that the Garden of Eden would be in Africa. So they're trying to look, but even when once you understand the genealogies, you cannot show where no other brothers had any children named. So anything that is referred to as Ethiopia, Kush, must be made back to the African Ethiopia. It must be made back black to the African Ethiopia. So they running now. We got them on the run. See, we got them on because that right there showed that they have to admit. You see, and see, when you say that, I had to bring that. We talking about the Garden of Eden, right? Let me come back up here and get this now. I got to come back up here and get this. Because this gonna make sense. This gonna make sense. I got science way up here. I got science way up here. And so, matter of fact, this is the children. These are some of the other children of Egypt, Mizraim. You see the Ludim. Nah, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to that. Let me not lose that. What I was talking about first. Here. You see, I'm gonna come black up there if we got time, because man, wait a minute. I know I'm out. I know I'm out. I'm gonna come black in. Where did I drop it? Damn, did I drop? Where did I drop it? There you go. Okay, let me just copy that. Let me drop it right here because it need to be there. You see, and so they're gonna go back to Adham, black. You see what I'm saying? They can't accept that. You see, they can't accept that. And so you see, it says, let me make sure everything is in there good. Matter of fact, let me come on out. I don't want to. I'm gonna have to stay. Yeah. So you see here, the name, it says here in one passage in the description of the Garden of Eden, an Asiatic Kush or Ethiopia must be intended. No, it don't have to be intended because you don't know of no other place. Listen, in all other passages, the word Ethiopia and the Ethiopians, with one possible exception, the Arabians that were near the Ethiopians, in which I explain, which may refer to Arabians opposite Ethiopia, may safely consider to mean an African country and peoples. See, so every other place you can is Ethiopian. It means black. But just right here where you say Eden, and even when it say Arabia. Now, when it says the Arabians that were, and you see it in italic. See, in italic is the King James version is in italic. You see, it's in italic. Which it means is when it says we're in italic, it means in physical and cultural, not geographical. You see what I'm saying? Because so when they talking about that was near, that means in racial origin and in cultural origin. See what I'm saying? So what is saying is talking about the Sabaeans, talking about those of Sheba. We talking about Dedan. We talking about the other Rama. You see what I'm saying? All these Cushites that were in that land long before Ishmael. See, and so when you understand that, see, the thing you have to understand that the Arabs started with Ishmael. You can get from Babylon to Timbuktu, he brings that up, that the Hamites, the Africans, was in that land before Ishmael. And then even when you break down Ishmael, even though the Arab tried to use Ishmael as his father, we'll break that down and show that that's not true. That Ishmael, see, in the Quran and in the Islamic garbage, that they try to say that Abraham and Ishmael went down into Arabia, founded Mecca, constructed the Kaaba. They say Ishmael and Abraham did that. And then when you go in front of the Kaaba, if you go in front of the Kaaba, they say Ishmael's grave is there. That's right. You will see it. That's right. That's right. That's right. So when you go into Mecca, they say Ishmael's grave. So you can look it up. Kaaba, if you just look it up, Kaaba, Ishmael's grave, and they'll show you right. Matter of fact, let me show you myself. Mm-hmm. Right there. Mm-hmm. Let me show y'all. I know I'm out of there. Let me put it back in it so I don't miss out getting it in there. So I'm gonna show you where they say Ishmael's grave, but that's not true. We'll crack that open. We're gonna crack that open. So where am I at? So I make sure. Okay. Let me put this in here. So if you're in front of the Kaaba, this little square down there, that's supposed to be where Ishmael is buried. You understand what I'm saying? Let me this also show it too. Now that's fraudulent. You see it from the aerial view too. You see it from the aerial view too. That's supposed to be where Ishmael is buried. But then when we go into the Bible, it says something totally different, that he did not go to no damn Arabia. That he stayed, his mother, who was an Egyptian woman, according to the Bible, a Hamitic, and that she chose an African wife for him, and he stayed right outside of Egypt. He never went to no damn Mecca. You see what I'm saying? So even when they try to lie and say that, they and again, when you talk about the Quran, you understand what I'm saying? When you talk about the Quran, I want to bring this up real quickly. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get it. I want to show you this. I want to show you this now. I don't want to get away without, so you can have full proof that the information is 100% right and exact, and that you can use it at your disposal to crush any goddamn lie out there. You understand what? And I'm gonna come back on that, black on that, because we got to continuously update information. You know what I'm saying? Well, I had to show you. I can't show you all today because I'm going quick as hell trying to get this information, and I'm not skipping over none. It ain't that hard, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't even breathing trying to put this shit in here. Okay, here we go. See, I got one already. Come right on in. You see, come right on in. Let's drop this in here. Let's drop this in here. Let's drop this in here. Bingo. Blink. Let's drop this on in here. Okay. Now let's go into this book. Yeah, y'all got, you know what? Y'all got, you gonna have 24 hours to see it, but it will be uploaded on my Patreon. You see what I'm saying? So if you go over there, you got access to it. You see what I'm saying? You got access to all them lectures over there. You see what I'm saying? So shit, I mean, you think about it, I mean, it's best to, join the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have all the live streams end up over there anyway. And so shit, you going to, I'm just telling you, for the sake of. So you see right here, Babylon, from Babylon to Timbuktu. What does he say? He said this is by Rudolph Windsor. That's one of our brothers. A history of ancient black races, including the black Hebrews. What does it say? It is a known fact that there were Ethiopians inhabiting Arabia in the north, southwest, and the southeast. How did the Ethiopians establish domicile residence in southwest Arabia? Because Ethiopians lived around the Persian Gulf in northern Arabia, it is highly probable that they migrated towards the southeast and the southwest. It is obvious that the Cushites inhabited vital parts of Arabia before the birth of the progenitors of the Arabs. Rama, the son of Cush, Sudan, Nubia, was the father of Cushite, Sheba, and Dedan, which is in Genesis 10:7, around 2300 BC. The tribe of Rama became remarkable merchants, Ezekiel 27:22. The descendants of Rama lived in southeast Arabia, and the descendants of Havilah resided in southwest Arabia, which is Yemen. This Havilah was the son of Cush, which you also is in the garden in reference to the Garden of Eden. Matter of fact, Havilah was the first nation mentioned in the Bible in Genesis. Okay, so when you talk about the Garden of Eden, it was only 4 nations mentioned: Havilah, Ethiopia, Assyria, and maybe it's just 3. Assyria, which is the land of Nimrod, which we are back, all Ethiopian nations, every last one of them, Ethiopian. Okay, and so the descendants of Havilah resided in the south, southwest Arabia, which is Yemen. This Havilah was the son of Cush. Moreover, Cush was the patriarch of all the Ethiopian tribes in Babylon, Arabia, India, and on the Nile River. Okay, the Cushites were residents of Arabia soon after the confusion of the tongues at Babylon, 2247 BC. Listen, but Ishmael, the father of the Arabs, was not born until 1896 BC. My conclusion is that the Ethiopians were in Arabia before the Arabs. Okay? We blacked that up now. You see, we blacked that up. And so, I'll come off on that. I don't want, and I did want to deal with Ishmael, but it seemed like we're gonna have to have a part two, because you see, we already at 2 hours. We at 2 hours, and I'm gonna give you the last 30 minutes hard body. You see, I'm gonna give you the last 30 minutes hard body. You see, and so let me get back up here. And so we dealt with that, but let's deal with the Garden of Eden, because we there right now. You see, we there right now, and this is another one that I didn't deal with. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you where I got this one from. Let me copy the so you know what book I'm taking this out of. Here it is. Talking about Cush now. See? So it says Cush. So in that same book, it had Ethiopia and it had Cush, because people got two different understandings, but it's actually the same. Okay, so where's the land of Cush? The name of Cush was derived from Egypt to the Egyptians. See, now you see Kosh. See? Now that's something different. See, because I didn't told you that the vowels are interchangeable. You see, you got a K, you got a C, and it means exactly the same thing. Let me put that down there. Let me put that down there, because we're gonna come back to this. And I might as well go on and get it in here so we understand this. See? And so now it says Kosh, which means it means exactly the same thing. See? And so it said, and so to the Egyptians, let me make sure I'm in there. I don't want to, okay, I'm in there. The Kosh denoted the district south of the first cataract, inhabited for the most part by races of a Nubian origin. See, that's what I'm going to tell y'all. See, and so that's very key. So when you start talking about Kush, you should automatically understand. You should automatically, wherever you see Kush or Ethiopia, you should put Sudan and Nubia, because that's going to totally, because a lot of people think it's the Ethiopia of today. You see, in which, and the reason why I do this, and I'm going to just be real with you. I'm going to show you why I do this. Because you do got some niggas up in there, some mixed breed niggas, because the Arab didn't come across there. And they didn't intertwine with some of them. And, and in doing that, they didn't misrepresent it, what they call Sabaean. But today, if you go by their expression of it, that means, a lighter skin, Habish. You coming out of that Arabian peripheral. You're coming out of that, that allure of the Adites and the Ads, and these supposedly were the ancient giants. Again, dealing with them giants, but the Ads and and so on, and so they use that as a portal to a lot of Arab to come in some way somehow. You understand? Because they mixed up in there. So that's why I had to pull the rug from up under them niggas. You understand what I'm saying? To let them know and then show you, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, let me show you. So we could take it back to black. You see? Real quick, and let them know. And they ain't said shit yet. Yeah, they ain't said shit to me, because they already know that it's 100% the truth. They know it's 100% the truth. You see, so when I show you a Sudanese, wait a minute, let me get back up, let me get black up in there. Let me get black up in there so I can show you this. See, I pulls the rug from up under them niggas. Y'all motherfucker not about to hijack our culture and give it to the Arab. or some Arab mixed breed Arab nigger. No, sir. Not gonna let you do it. You don't want me to get that one. You know what? I'm gonna just take a picture of it. I'm gonna just take a picture. Oh, okay. Let me take a picture of it. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's what I do. I like it. Put these Sudanese in there. Oh man, I did that too. Okay, let me put these Sudanese up in there. Even though, all Sudanese ain't, but I had to put the darkest so you stay on point of why I had to do that. Because what they'll try to do through the Ethiopian today with that Habishi shit, they'll try to make it seem like, because they're trying to put this Afro-Asiatic race in Africa. And what them niggas do is they in cahoots with the powers to be to take the Nile Valley away from Africa and say those who are from Sub-Saharia or West Africa don't have nothing to do with it. These are these is Afro-Asiatics. And so we got to put the smash on that shit. You see what I'm saying? We got to put the smash on that shit. And so again, I also would like to stress that, all Sudanese is not, charcoal black, even though some is. But see, the ones that's who set the record straight, or when they say Sudanese, and you know what I'm saying, when they say the fathers of Arabia and fathers of Nimrod, see, that's clear. See, this changes shit. This change shit when you put this up here. Yes, indeed it do. Change a whole lot of shit. When I understood the ramifications of that, I say, oh, let me drop it in. See? Now that's Sudanese. That's Nubian. See? Yeah, when you say that's the father of Nimrod, yeah, and you say that's, yeah. Now don't get it twisted. Let me reflect on the fact, because we come in all colors. African color. I ain't talking about no. We come in all beautiful colors. All our colors is beautiful. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to go down the color spectrum, you know what I'm saying, and establish that the blackest ones, you see what I'm saying, set the tone. You see that we come out of black, period. And so you see, even there, they ain't it, but they dark. They ain't dark as him, but they still dark. You see what I'm saying? They still dark. But this one right here set the record. You know what I'm saying? He set the record. So when we say of a Nubian origin in Kosh, now another thing I want y'all to understand, that Kosh right there, and I'm throwing this ball, family. When you talk about Kashta, you see Kashta was the father of Pianki of the 25th dynasty, Shabaka. Let me get it in there. See, I want you to show you that Kosh. I want to show you the Kosh now. So you understand that. And as I was showing y'all earlier, how that word can, you can have just, it's really just KSSH. You see, it's KSH, it could be a CSH, and you add an A or U or however. You see the C and the K is interchangeable. So when you see where it say Kosh, to the Egyptians, Kosh denoted district south of the first cataract. Then you come and you look at the king of the Kushite dynasty in ancient Nubia, and the successor of Alara was Kashta. You see? And so that blacks that up. So we know exactly that it was Kush, that it was Sudan, that it was Nubia. Okay, and it says Kosh was the Ethiopia of classical geographicals, and in the tablets of Tel El Armana, it is called Kasi. You see Ka hyphen Si. In the later Assyrian inscriptions, the name is written Kusi, Ku apostrophe Si. And in the and it is this form of the name which we find in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, however, the name has a wider signification than it had either in Egypt or in Assyria. It embraces not only the African cache of the Egyptian monuments, but listen to this, but also the southern coast of Arabia. Coming right on up out of the Bible, Encyclopedia 19. That's why you got to get the older material. That's why you got to get the older material, because they were dropping that. Now, let me deal with something. Because you see Kusi. You see Kusi. Now, matter of fact, let me put that in there. I'm a blacks. Oh my God, I'm gonna show you what this old nasty rabbi said about, because that's the term that he used for Africans. I'm gonna black that up. I'm gonna black that up real quick. So to show you, Kushi, racist rabbi. Okay, here it is, right here. Let me see. Is this the one where he used that term? Okay, there it is. See, I don't be playing. I go right in there and get it. I don't be playing. Went right to it. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna drop it in there for you, family. Hold on. I'm gonna drop it in there so we make a clarification. Somebody else came in. They just gonna have to get in here live. I don't know when they came. I don't know when they came, but we'll give it to them. Okay. Okay, let me get this in here for y'all. I had to make sure family get in. Had to make sure family get in. Okay, let me cut this out. I'm gonna get this ugly ass rabbi in here too. The rabbi. You see? And so where is that at right there? Okay, now this is Tel Aviv, and I talked about, if y'all haven't, I talked about this old racist rabbi who is the Sephardic chief rabbi in Israel. Is subject of sharp criticism today. Let me make sure y'all, it's in there. Okay, good. Today, following last week's sermon where he compared black people to monkeys as he explained the blessing of blooming trees under the Hebrew month of Nisan. Footage of his sermon was posted by the Israeli news site Yetnet. Okay, in the video, the rabbi talks about black people in the streets of America whose parents were white, then called the black son of a white couple a monkey. He also uses the Hebrew word kushi. You see, kusi or kushi to describe black people, which is widely considered a racial slur in Israel. You see what I'm saying? So they know that this is you. You see, they know who it is. They very aware of these words and what they mean. You see, they well aware of these words and what they mean. Okay, now let's move down. And so we already deal. This is Nimrod. So and Cush begot Nimrod, and Ethiopia and Nubia begot Nimrod, a mighty hunter, and they say a giant hunter in the old. So he was a Nephilim. So Nimrod, and that's why I see the thing we don't understand. See, when the motherfuckers talk about, let's talk about this, where they say down Babylon. See how they use Babylon as the, you understand? Anything African got a bad rap in the Egypt, Canaan, Ethiopia, all of that. They against the Lord. You see what I'm saying? And so Babylon is actually Cushite, Nubian. You see, in its origin. You see, and so it says, Nubia begot Nimrod, a mighty hunter, a giant hunter. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Okay, and his this nations, they Babel, Babylon, Erech, Arcadia, in the land and Assyria. Okay. Matter of fact, let me get to the where's see right there, Assyria. Okay, here let's do it. Let's do it again. You see, let's do it again. And it says right here, in the beginning of his kingdom was Babylon, Babel, Erech, Akkad, Acadia, Colony, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Assyria, Ashur, and he built in Nineveh and the city of Rehoboth and Kala. Now, since we right there at Nineveh, let me throw it again because I'm throwing it fast. So we in our last 15 minutes, I'm throwing it fast so you can see, let's see, ivories of Nineveh. Nimrod, which is in Assyria. I was wrong. Nimrod, which is in Assyria. So this is far north. So when you look at these ivories, this is Mesopotamia, this is Nimrod. This is Nimrod. Nimrod is named after Nimrod. Okay, let me throw y'all, and so y'all can see. Let me get it in here. I'm throwing it fast. So when we come back around this, we don't have to do this again. It'll already be in there. How many niggas can teach and put the damn lecture together while you doing the lecture? Nigga do it, putting it in there. So you see, this is out of Nimrod. So you see, they heavily influenced by the Egyptians. Real talk. You see, this is coming out of Nimrod, and I'm gonna put a map in there for you so you can see it. I might already got it in there. I'm gonna go down there. This is 8th to 7th BC. This ain't just right around the corner. This is also out of Nimrod. You see, this is out of Nimrod. So you can see that they was heavily influenced. So this is in wait a minute. Let me get this one in here too. Just so I could show you that Nimrod was, that was Cushite, that was Egyptian. Okay, let me see if I got my maps, and it should. Okay, here we go. We in there. As you see right there, Assyria, Ashur. That's right. Didn't he say that? Let me see. Let me come down. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Syria, Ashur. Yep, there it is. Let me see. Let me put it in there. So you see Assyria, okay. Let me get the other one. Okay. What I'll do, let me just go on in and give me a map. Nimrod map. Okay, that's good. You got okay, yeah, that's good. Let me see if I can get it in here real quickly. Take that back on down there. That didn't do what I wanted to do. Okay, let me put it right there. Yep, there it is. Okay. Okay, again, let me get back up in there. And so you see right there and say at the beginning it was Babel. And so we understand that's Babylon. That's down there in the south. That's down there in the south. That's Babylon. So it's showing that it's coming from the south up north. It didn't start in the north and come down. So understandably, the Africans had sailed in from what today is called the Persian Gulf with the monsoons. No different than when they went to India, they went by way of the monsoons. And you see that it's coming from the south, which means that the Africans sailed in there and established civilizations on the ports. You see what I'm saying? On the ports, and they established like any other, just like the 13 colonies when they got here, wherever they landed was the first areas in which they established the colony. So all of those states that on the eastern seaboard are the earliest colonies of America. No different. So wherever you land, and you will find Jamestown and all them early colonies right off the eastern seaboard are the oldest cities in America. No different than when you go into Mesopotamia, the oldest cities are at the southern end of the Mesopotamian civilization. And it says here, what does it say? Erect, Akkad, Calneh. It says, and out of that land, so it's saying out of Babel, and I want y'all to see Babylon. I don't want y'all to, where I said it was at, no, I want y'all to see. Okay, let me get something in here quickly. Let me get something in there. Okay, there it is. So you see Babylon is in, and it says out of that land. You see, out of that land went forth what? You see, the beginning of his kingdom was Babel in the south. And that just because the city is there, Babylon included all the way to the water from that point, Babylonia. You see what I'm saying? And it says, out of that land, Babylon went forth for Syria, which is in the north. You see what I'm saying? So it's showing you that the civilization is coming from the south up north. It's coming from the beginning of the river, where it's not actually, this is actually the end. You see what I'm saying? It's actually flowing down, and so it's actually coming up the river, showing that the Africans sailed in and established civilization at the mouth, and then went up the river to see how far it went up, and and wasn't nobody there. And you see Nimrod right there. We're gonna deal with Nimrod. And went forth and built in Nineveh. And so we know what Nineveh, here's Nineveh way up here. You see Nimrod, you see Nineveh. And so these ivories come out of Nimrod, which is right up there in Nineveh. You see them right here to show you that the Egyptians, what they talking about, ancient Egypt went all the way through there. Period. With a T. Period. You see, the Egyptians ran all of that. You see, now when we talking about and the sons of Cush, Ethiopia, Nubia, Havilah. We just talked about Havilah. You see, now Havilah is in the beginning dealing with the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden. Where is that at? Let me see. Is it way up here? If not, I'm gonna get it. Let me see if I can get it right quick. It's there, but let me, you know what? Let me go on and get it and drop it in there, because I don't want to play with the time. I don't want to go look. I'm gonna just go on and grab it where I need to grab it. Make a copy of it and throw it on in there. Man, you'd be surprised how much time it take to get information, man. I could be going on forever. Straight up. Havila. Let me see. There you go. There you go. Not a problem. We already saw that. Not a problem. We already saw that. Let me go and throw this on in there. Let me go on and throw this on in there. Let me go and throw this on in there. Let me go and throw it on in there, y'all. Okay. Bingo. Let me get it on down here. All right. Let me drop it on in there so we can make clarity. You see, let me make clarity. Genesis 2:10-14. It says, "And the river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. The name of the first is Pishon. That is the one that flowed around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold." Now, when we go and we look it up, we see, "And the sons of Cush, Ethiopia, Sudan, Nubia, Seba, and Havilah." You see, so when you go in there, you see that Havilah is the first nation to be mentioned in the Bible. Says where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. So when we spell it out, Nubia, let me work now. Y'all say, let me work, let me work, let me work. Let me undo that. Okay. Nubia. Okay. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Okay, listen. See, let me earn my worth. You see, let me own my worth. Let's look it up now. Let's look it up and tell me what you and tell me what we wait a minute. Here you go, right here. Let's look. Let's look. Let me drop it on in here. Bingo. Okay. Nubia. Okay, right here. Let me get that on in there. See, so when you look at what is the name meaning of Nubia as a it means gold. Nubia means gold. You see, it refers to the vast quantities of this valuable, shiny mineral found in Egypt. So it says right here, Havilah, who is the son of Nubia. You understand what I'm saying? Havilah, who is the son of Cush, Sudan, Nubia. And it says in reference to the Garden of Eden, Havilah, where there is gold. And we know that Nubia, what? What does it mean? It means gold. And the gold of that land is good. There's bdellium and onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is Gihon, is the one that floweth around the whole land of Nubia, Sudan. The name of the third river is the Tigris, which flows around the east of Assyria. See? And so when we go back to Assyria, what does it say? What does it say? Let's get back on up there where it talks about Nimrod. Yeah, let's get back down Nimrod. Let me. Where is it at? Wait a minute. And there he is. There he is. Where's his family? We just went over that. Okay. Hold on. I gotta get that right where it need to be. I gotta get that right where it need to be. There it is. There it is. Where it's down too far. Let me copy that. Where it go? I got so much shit going on up in here. It's ridiculous. There it is. Okay. I found it. We did it. Let me put it right there. And so you see, and out of that land went forth a shore. This is dealing with Nimrod. That's right. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a giant one in the earth. He was a giant hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as not Nimrod, the giant hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. We did that, and out of that land went forth a shore. And so when you understand that and you go through there and you go through where the Garden of Eden is, you see Havilah, son of Cush, Assyria, Nimrod, son of Cush, and Cush himself. So all three nations in reference to the Garden of Eden are Cushites. And what is Cush? It's Nubia. Sudan family, taking it, and what's clear, what it said. Yeah, y'all got work. I'm gonna leave it up. Listen, for all my family that bought it, I'm gonna leave it up there for 48 hours for y'all. You know what I'm saying? You got access to it for 4, and then I take it down because people get this giving the link out and shit and all of that, and other people didn't pay for it. You paid for it. So I wouldn't do that and allow people who didn't pay for it unless they in your household. If they in your household, that's all right. If they live in your household or this, that, or if you go somewhere and you bring it up yourself and you let people see, that's on you. You understand what I'm saying? But don't get a link out because they didn't pay for it. And every that gives you understand what I'm saying, the respect that's deserved. Because if I just gave it out and you paid for it, you're gonna be like, nigga, what the hell you get that link out like that for? And I paid for it. You see what I'm saying? So out of respect, that's what, and I shut it down. And then those who want to have access to all these, they go on my Patreon. So when you go on there, you gonna have tons of these type of lectures. You're not gonna get this on no YouTube at all. You're not gonna get. So we proven that even the Garden of Eden is from the Cushite land, man. What a powerful. We did 2.5 hours. You see, I'm out of here. I didn't even breathe. I'm going to get me something to eat. I want to thank y'all for being here in the house and supporting the general. Make sure you go and check out the other platforms and continue to learn, family. I'm gonna bring this back and I'm gonna touch on the other. I'm gonna go over this and I'm gonna touch over it because it's so much more. You know what, and I'm telling you, we could do it probably at least 2, 3 more on the same amount of time, and I have to do the same thing. I have to just stay to. I ain't rushing, but I got to stay to the information and don't even breathe and keep going to make sure that I get it in there. So, family, I want to thank you. This is the General Sarah Soon said. He's saying, "Hey, I'll see you the next time in Black Power."